Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to The Last Lap. In today's video we're going to be breaking down everything that happened from Martinsville, and trust me, when I say everything, I mean everything, because a lot of stuff went down at Martinsville. Each of us are going to give our thoughts and opinions on everything that happened, but before we hop into it, just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button and that like button. That would be greatly appreciated, and you can hit the little notification bell to let you know when we will be uploading, because we'll have 3 videos being uploaded this week. We'll have our vlog from Martinsville coming out probably in the middle of the week at some point, so stay tuned for that. And as always, I have my friend and co-host Matthew joining me on the show, and we are back in our prospective homes. Well, I guess you're technically in a temporary home for now, but yeah, Martinsville's over. It was a great weekend, a lot of fun hanging out with each other and seeing 2 good races this weekend. So Matthew, how do you feel post Martinsville?
Well, I'm still recovering from the amazing week I had in Martinsville. I always enjoy being down there. Always loved that track. And yeah, I look like a mess today because I'm really tired from this weekend. So, but other than that, it was really fun, and I'm glad to experience another great Martinsville weekend.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. We're both a little bit tired, but we're gonna try to bring as much energy to this video as possible, because a lot of stuff did happen this week at Martinsville. But to start things off is the truck race, but we did not go to the truck race as you saw in our predictions video. But William Byron did end up winning that in the number 7 Spire Motorsports truck. So that was a good win for him and for them to get their first win of the season in that Spire truck. It'll be interesting to see who else runs in that truck throughout the season, and if we see Bowman or Byron in it again. Maybe Larson runs it at some point, maybe Chase runs it at some point, but cool to see them get their first win of the season. Not too much to discuss there. And arguably the biggest event of the weekend was the Xfinity race, which we were both at. So just a quick recap: Ty Gibbs dominated most of this race. One interesting thing that happened throughout the race is he got mired back in traffic, and he would advance several positions at a time on the choose rule, because 3, 4, 5 cars in front of him would pick the bottom, and he would move 3 or 4 spots at a time and just pick the top. So I think at one point he was like plus 12 in positions gained just from the choose rule, from picking the outside lane. So that was interesting. I'm a little bit surprised drivers didn't try to keep him further back in traffic, but yeah, it was interesting. Brandon Jones eventually took the lead from Ty Gibbs on one of the restarts, I think. There were several restarts late in the race, which I got some of them on video that you'll see in our vlog. There was a big crash on the front stretch on one of them that I was actually pretty close to, and I was able to get a pretty good look at it on video, so that'll be cool to see later on in the vlog too. Noah Gragson was involved. He kind of got hooked by Sam Mayer after he got hit from behind by Allmendinger, I think. And then there were a few more crashes after that, I believe. And the second overtime restart, this is when things get interesting. So Brandon Jones was the leader. Ty Gibbs was on the outside. Brandon Jones pretty much shot out to the lead. Ty Gibbs was trying to keep up with him on the outside. And coming out of turn 4, Ty Gibbs, Sam Mayer, and AJ Allmendinger were 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, or 3rd, 4th, and 5th, something like that. They were all fighting for the dash for cash. So Sam Mayer decides to bump Ty Gibbs out of the way, and then proceedingly run him up the track into the wall off of turn 4, coming to the checkered flag. Neither of them would win the dash for cash. AJ Allmendinger would actually win the dash for cash. Brandon Jones won the race. I'm sure everybody forgot about that by now, that he even won the race after what happened. But Brandon Jones won the race. AJ Allmendinger won the dash for cash. Ty Gibbs, not happy at all with Sam Mayer afterwards, ran into his car 2 or 3 times after the checkered flag on their way back around to pit road. Ty Gibbs parks his car right up behind Sam Mayer's car, gets out of his car, walks over to Sam Mayer. They exchange a few words, and I have all this on video, by the way, and it's probably going to be turned. The audio, unfortunately, will probably be turned off due to, people in the grandstand saying things that they shouldn't be saying.
Up there?
They were saying things that they shouldn't be saying, so that'll unfortunately be muted more than likely.
Say it with your chest.
But yeah, so the video will show in the vlog that So Ty Gibbs got out of his car, walked over to Sam Mayer. They talked for a few minutes. Both of their helmets were on. and Ty Gibbs kind of shoved Sam Mayer and walked away. And then Sam Mayer took his helmet off and decided to walk back over to Ty Gibbs and re-instigate things. And they're exchanging words. Sam Mayer kind of puts his finger at Ty Gibbs' little shield on his helmet and like flicks it up and pushes him back a little bit. I think he called Ty Gibbs a explicative word. That sparked things even more. They start pushing back and forth. And soon enough, Ty Gibbs throws a few punches actually, and connects pretty good on Sam Mayer a few times. And the crowd going crazy the whole time as it's happening. They eventually get separated and they get interviewed. And I should have the audio for Ty Gibbs' interview on because they were booing so loud when Ty Gibbs was being interviewed after the race. So
just like Denny Hamlin last year.
Yeah, just like Denny Hamlin last year. We were both there for that. I'm going to quickly give my opinion on it. I'm going to try not be too long on the whole situation. So, in my opinion, does Ty Gibbs have a right to be upset? Absolutely. He got moved out of the way, ran into the fence for second place, but they were still going for the dash for cash. So I understand what Sam Mayer did, but he ran him into the fence coming off of turn 4, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, if you're Ty Gibbs, if you're going to be roughing people up, you have to expect it in return. And he got roughed up. I know it wasn't for the win. It was for the dash for cash, but still, there was something on the line. He got roughed up for it, and he gets really mad about it. When they were mad at him, for roughing him up. John Nemechek was mad last week, but there was no fight or anything. I mean, obviously they were teammates, but still, there was no fight or anything. And then for Ty Gibbs to get as aggravated as he did after having a reputation for shoving people out of the way, I don't really think that's fair. If you poke the bull, you gotta expect to get the horns at some point. Ty Gibbs got the horns, and I believe he genuinely overreacted. I don't believe he intended to, punch Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer obviously escalated things to a certain extent, but still, you have the best cars every week. You're gonna have a chance to win the race every single week, and for him to get that escalated over the situation, I lost a little bit of respect for him. I like Ty Gibbs, but I lost a little bit of respect for him for that. I still like him. I'm still going to be rooting for him and stuff, but lost just a little bit of respect for him just because he has that reputation, and he has been known to do that. And then it happens to him, and he gets very upset about it. So apparently they're good on it. Apparently they shook hands in the hauler, and apparently it's a done deal, so I guess that's good. Sam Mayer's interview was pretty funny because he said that it wasn't that big of a punch or something, and he has a black eye, so I don't really know why he said that, acting all tough and everything, when he literally got a fist to the face and said it wasn't that good of a punch. So, I'll leave it there for now. I'm sure I have a lot more thoughts, but for the sake of, the video's length and stuff, I need to get your opinion on this too. So, Matthew, what do you have to say about the whole incident in the Xfinity race before we move on to the Cup race?
But hey, before the race, we did meet Noah Gragson. He was just walking around the midway, so we got pictures with Noah Gragson. He's such a cool guy. I like that guy a lot.
Yeah, that was cool. We were able to see Noah Gregson was on his way to an autograph session. He just kind of walked right by, and we didn't even really recognize it at first. And then I looked over, and I was like, "Oh, that's Noah Gregson." So that was really cool. We were able to see him and get a picture with him. Super nice guy. Thankful for him to take a few pictures with us and all that. But yeah, the main thing for me, like, it's not like a manly thing for me, like that Ty Gibbs didn't take his helmet off. It's just you throw a punch at a guy that doesn't have a helmet on, and you do have a helmet on, so like it's just not, I guess, safe is the word I'm looking for, I guess, because like if they're gonna throw a punch at a guy that has no protection at all, and you're fully protected, that's just not right in my opinion. But yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Ty Gibbs got into a few more incidents this year, because he said at Richmond that John Hunter Nemechek owes him one. Ryan Sieg is probably still a little bit frustrated with him. So I hope Ty Gibbs kind of learns his lesson and learns to be like, you always want to be aggressive when you're driving a race car, but patiently aggressive. I think that's what Ty Gibbs needs to work on. Just managing the race, being aggressive at the right time, not going overboard, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure he'll learn.
That's what
maybe he needs to.
That's the thing with these talented kids here. Like, they have when they have a lot of success like Ty Gibbs has off the bat. If he do something to that person after having so much success early on, you don't know how that person's gonna react. They're basically like an unknown bomb, basically getting ready to go off. And well, Ty Gibbs' bomb really went off after that incident.
Yeah, maybe Ty needs 2, 3, maybe 4 years in the Xfinity Series just to kind of learn how all that goes before getting to the Cup Series. Because if you get that at the Cup Series, you are not going to be liked at all. We saw Chase Elliott get into something with Denny Hamlin in 2017, and he was still young at the time. So
you mean Denny Hamlin got into Chase Elliott?
Hopefully, Ty can mature a little bit, learn how to balance his aggressiveness and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting year for sure in the Xfinity Series to see how he handles the rest of the season. But moving past that into the Cup race, there's still a whole nother race we need to talk about, and honestly, it was a little bit underwhelming compared to Saturday night. Both races before it started, it rained, so that they had to dry the track a little bit. That was a bit frustrating that we had to sit there and wait for a while, and it got very cold. So yeah, definitely not the ideal racing conditions for us race fans. But going into the Cup race, first 2 stages, no cautions at all except for the stage breaks. Chase Elliott won both stages, led every single lap. Just a normal green flag run, nothing for the first 2 stages. Joe Gibbs Racing kind of struggled throughout most of the night. Most of the JGR cars struggled. Christopher Bell was decent early, and then he had a pit road penalty. Denny Hamlin just had no speed at all, and neither did Martin Truex Jr. Denny Hamlin went several laps down. Martin Truex Jr., I think, went a couple laps down too. Kyle Busch was up and down throughout the night. And then after stage 2, William Byron took the lead from Chase Elliott after green flag pit stops. Not after green flag pit stops. After the stage break. There were green flag pit stops in stage 3, though, which we never see at Martinsville. I think they said the last time that happened was 2016 or something like that. There were green flag pit stops at Martinsville. So that happened in the 3rd stage. Denny Hamlin had some type of mechanical issue that brought out the first caution for quote-unquote incident of the day. And then it went pretty much green from there. And then Todd Gilliland, he got into the fence with 2 or 3 laps to go. William Byron at that point had checked out. Joey Logano was up there. Austin Dillon, he was up in the top 5 most of the day, so that was cool for him. Chase Elliott faded. Him and Kyle Busch pitted after the Denny Hamlin incident, I believe. So they were back in the early teens in positions. So at this point, it was pretty much William Byron's race to lose. And he was able to hold off Joey Logano and Austin Dillon after green-white checker finish. Nothing too intense. Joey Logano roughed him up a little bit, but William Byron was able to hang on and become the first multi-win winner of the season with 2 wins I don't think anybody would have expected that. But yeah, it was interesting. A few factors went into the racing today that was mixed opinions because the drivers couldn't really pass. I think lap traffic was the biggest factor in this race because William Byron and Chase Elliott, they would check out on the field by 4, 5, 6 seconds, and then they'd catch lap traffic, and then Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney would catch up to them and be pretty much right on their bumper at the end of the stage or at the end of a green flag run. So lap traffic was a huge factor. Drivers couldn't really pass the lap traffic. It was giving them a hard time. It was hard to pass in general without moving somebody out of the way. So a few things. Well, I'll let you kind of think through maybe some factors that prevented the race from being as good as it could have been this week at Martinsville. So, Matthew, what do you think are a few things that maybe prevented the racing from being as good as it could have been compared to, the Xfinity race last night or the Cup race last fall or anything like that? So what do you think are some factors that may have caused the racing to not be as good Saturday night?
Well, let's see. This video is getting kind of long, so I'm just going to talk about what happened before the race and then what was the cause of why this race wasn't that good, and then we'll just end the video here because I don't want to bore y'all here. This video is getting kind of long, but so before I talk about the actual race, before the race, Jimmy and I were actually around the front gate area, and we actually met up with Bob Pockris, who did like a meetup, and we had some people around. So we were able to circle around Bob Pockris, and next thing you know, he brings out Todd Gilliland, who drives a 38 car in the Cup Series. We didn't know he was going to be there, and man, Todd Gilliland is tall. He's like 6'2", probably. I mean, he was tall. So we were actually, he and I were able to actually ask questions about Todd Gilliland. And so while I was asking my question, Bob Pockris actually interrupted me. He was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, but he doesn't take questions from Kyle Busch fans." Everyone was laughing. I thought it was funny actually because I just got roasted by Bob Pockris, and it was in front of a Cup Series driver and Todd Gilliland. And Todd Gilliland thought it was funny too. He was cracking up over that. So that's a moment I'm going to remember for the rest of my life there. Got roasted by Bob Pockris in front of a Cup driver. So I feel complete. But yeah, it was a lot of fun meeting up with Bob Pockris, and of course getting to talk. This was the first time I really got to have a conversation with a Cup driver. I mean, yeah, I've met Cup drivers before with autographs, but that you don't really have time to have a conversation. So that was great to have an actual conversation since I never had before. But okay, let's get to the race, which nothing really much happened. Basically, if you want, here's the Spark Notes version of the race. Chase Elliott led the first half, William Byron led the second half, and a caution came out with 7 laps to go. Byron still won, so that's all that really happened. That's all what happened basically. So here's a couple things I think that contributed. I don't think it's really the car because, we saw a race at the Coliseum, which is similar to Martinsville, and we just raced at Richmond, which is not really like Martinsville, but it's still a short track. And at least with the Coliseum in Richmond, Richmond wasn't really the best race. It wasn't really the best race of the season, but at least you could pass there. It looked like you could pass just fine, right, Jimmy? Were they able to pass at Richmond? Because you were there.
Oh yeah, Richmond. It wasn't the fact. It just there weren't any cautions. The racing was good. It's just there weren't any cautions.
Exactly.
So I thought the racing itself was good at Richmond. It's just no cautions. People could pass and there's strategy involved. So for that perspective, I thought Richmond was a pretty good race.
Exactly. So I don't think it's the car that really contributed to the not so good racing. I think it contributed. I think the Goodyear, the tire compound that they brought into this race contributed to that, and also the very cold temperatures, because In my opinion, this was the coldest race I've ever been to. I mean, I was freezing. I never. That was like the first time I was legit freezing in a NASCAR race. I mean, I was wearing so many layers of clothes. It's not even funny. And I didn't bring gloves. I didn't think it was gonna be that cold. But next, you know, I'm like a popsicle in the stands. But yeah, I think the tire compound has something to do with it, and the cold temperatures, because with apparently they brought a new Goodyear compound to this race, and apparently it's a much safer compound. When in reality, it barely did any. Apparently, that meant there was barely any wear in the tires. It's still, you still need like fresh tires if you're like on a very long run. But if you're pitting like 10, 20 laps after they pitted, like Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott did that. I mean, it didn't really make that much of a difference. Which, by the way, Alan Gilverson was stupid for that. He needs to be fired from there immediately, because he's made some stupid calls, and that's not a stupid call that he made. I mean, Chase Elliott was one of the best, was like the best car, second best car of the race, and he was still up there, but he's decided to make him pit for some reason. So, yeah, that's my opinion on Alan Gilverson, but yeah. The tire compound, it didn't really wear that much. And in my opinion, they need to start making more aggressive tire compounds. And it's on the driver if they wear that tire out and they just blow the tire out. Oh well. Start making more aggressive tire compounds. You don't need to make a safer compound tire. It's so stupid. But anyways, I also think the cold temperatures really had a big play in it. And it also rained before, so all the rubber washed off. And with the colder temperatures, that means the track is not really going to be that warm, and that means you're not going to lay a lot of rubber on the track. So I think that has a big contribution as well. Because I remember seeing every time someone came out the pit road after the green flag pit stop that we had, all the drivers in the first turn would just slide up, almost hitting the wall every time, because they have low air pressure and the track is not really that warm. It's a really cold track. So yeah, that's my opinion. I think the temperature outside, the track temperature, and the stupid Goodyear compound on the tires this weekend is what contributed to this bad race. I don't think it was the car, like I said, because Richmond, even though there wasn't a lot of caution, so it was still racing. You could still pass. The 80 couldn't pass at Martinsville, so yeah, I'm going to just give my rating here now since this video is getting kind of long. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Yeah. I mean, I could go lower, but I like being at Martinsville, so that's probably a little biased there. But yeah, I was freezing my butt off, and yeah, nothing much happened. So 5 out of 10.
Yeah, that was a super cold race. The Xfinity race was pretty cold, and then the Cup race was even colder, especially with the amount of rain that came. It rained probably an hour on and off for the most part. I mean, they even did driver introductions while it was raining. I heard reports that it was snowing, so I don't know what was going on with the weather, but it was definitely cold and got colder throughout the night. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much touched on all the factors. I think the tire was definitely one thing that might have contributed to the racing. I heard that throughout the first and second stage, when they ran those long 60 or 80 lap runs, it was only like half a second of fall off, so tires didn't really mean anything. You mentioned that Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch pitted, and they didn't really make their way up through the field. I mean, Chase, I think, got to 10th, and Kyle Busch got to 8th or something like that, so tires really didn't mean anything. And then the cold temperatures as well. I thought it was cool, actually seeing the cars come off a pit road under the green flag pit stops and struggle with the car. It took them quite a few laps to get heat in the tires to get going. Several drivers slid up the track, like you said, in turn 3. I know Chase did it once, and several other drivers did too, so I thought that was interesting. But yeah, as for my rating, I'm 5 is an average race, and this is below average, especially for Martinsville standards. So I'm gonna give it a 3, just for Martinsville standards. When you go to Martinsville, you expect to see a lot of beating and banging. You expect to see a lot of spins. Not necessarily see tempers flare. I mean, that's a bonus in my opinion. But when you go to Martinsville, you expect a lot of beating and banging, which we saw some beating and banging, but you expect to see a lot of spins, a lot of cars with some damage on them, and we really didn't get that. So, I mean, for this, like, the racing was okay, but, like, when you go to Martinsville, you expect a lot to happen. You have very high expectations for Martinsville. So for that, I'm going to give it a 3. That doesn't even, I mean, the weather has a little bit of an impact on that because it was cold, but, I mean, just from the, Martinsville experience itself, I'm going to give it a 3. So a little bit low on the rating there, I know, but, like I said, you expect the big things out of Martinsville. So, Matthew, do you have any other closing thoughts before we go ahead and wrap the episode up?
I think I should put on my Instagram bio, got roasted by Bob Progress.
Yeah, that was cool. I wish I got that on video. That would have been awesome to include in the vlog. But yeah, we will have some videos and pictures and all that stuff from our race experience, including, the fight from Saturday night and some wrecks and burnouts and just about everything from the weekend. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for that. If you guys have the notification bell on, you will be notified as soon as that video goes up. Hopefully we can get that up by Wednesday. If not, you should know. But yeah, we appreciate you guys watching this video. Stay tuned to our channel throughout the rest of the week, and we will see you guys in our next video.